So let's sit comfortably. Let's sit with the spine tall. Let's close our eyes so that the eyelids are just gently closed, unless you prefer to have your eyes cast downward. Drawing the awareness inward, bringing the attention to the breath. And let's first start by just noticing the quality of the breath. And notice if the breath is regular or irregular. If it's shallow, maybe upper chest breathing, or a deep, relaxed breath. Maybe moving from the lower lobes of the lungs, which is ideally where we want to practice our breathing, is from the lower lobes of the lungs. So with that in mind, let's let the abdomen relax. And as you take in your inhalation, let the abdomen expand so that air is drawing up, expanding on the way up, and exhaling from the top down. This deep, relaxed breath shouldn't feel like it's an unnatural breath, just a nice, rich breath. Sometimes if we're not used to taking in a full deep breath, we can get lightheaded. So if that happens to you, then just resume your regular breathing and start back up again when you're ready. Full awareness to the breath. A few more rounds. Feeling that expansion with the inhalation, a gentle contraction with the exhalation. And after your next exhalation, resume your regular breathing and keeping the awareness inward. Let the arms hang alongside the body, so they're just hanging freely. Begin to lower the chin down to the chest. You can keep the eyes closed if you'd like. Tucking the chin down and under. Letting the weight of the head give a nice stretch to the back of the neck. And then begin to roll the right ear over towards the right shoulder slowly. As it reaches that right shoulder, then gently press down on that left shoulder. Just taking a nice deep breath here to enjoy that gentle stretch to the side of the neck. And then rolling the chin back down to the center of the chest. And then rolling left ear over towards the left shoulder. And gently pressing down on the right shoulder. Taking a nice deep breath there. And then continue with slow, smooth half circles. Letting go of any tightness in the neck, any tension that might be held there. Next time that the chin rolls down to the center of the chest, then begin to lift the head back up slowly. And then we'll come forward in our chairs a few inches so that you're almost in the center of the chair. You can walk the feet forward a little bit so that you feel that you're very well stabilized here with your legs. And let's bring the fingertips to the tops of the shoulders. We're just going to roll the shoulders around a little bit, rolling those ball and socket joints of the shoulders a few times in each direction. Letting go of any tightness in the shoulders. So we're just going to give ourselves a little bit of an abbreviated warm-up here before we begin to work with our resistance bands. Next time that the elbows are pressing down, then let's release the arms. You can kind of give them a little shake out. Let's shake the feet, pound the feet out, move the legs around a little bit. If you want, you can really pound the feet firmly on the ground so that you get a little bit of a massage to the feet and increase the circulation to the legs. Okay, good. So let's turn sideways on our chair. We're going to prepare for cat-cow. So turning to the side of your chair, it doesn't matter which side. I like to do cat-cow this side because it really gives you a lot of freedom behind you so that the chair doesn't impede that arching of the back. So sitting tall, as you inhale, begin to hinge forward. So we're opening up the chest, the shoulders roll back towards each other, chin slightly up, and exhaling, reversing that arch. So the back is really rounding, chin tucks down and under, inhaling forward. You might like to try the hands sliding in towards the hips, and with your exhale, as you're arching the back, the hands can slide towards and maybe under the knees, rolling over the knees. Making this your own movement. So our focus here is to let the spine become a little bit more flexible with these cat-cows and loosening up the spine, lubricating all of those vertebral discs. A few more times, as much or as little movement as feels right for you. That's where keeping that inner awareness really helps us to listen to the body so that we know if we're going too far, maybe beyond our edge, and we need to pull back a little bit before going into any strain. And the next time that you hinge forward, then we'll come back upright to our neutral position. So in our neutral position, our ankles are underneath the knees, knees are in line with the hips, hips are in line with the shoulders, shoulders are in line with the ears. We have the chin tucked back just a little bit to lengthen the neck. Let's bring our arms behind us and we'll interlace the fingers. And so now our shoulders are rolling back, the shoulder blades are squeezing in towards each other. See if you can lift the arms away from the body. And sometimes people find it helpful to hinge forward and then lift up. So chin tucks down and under and breathing. So without forcing, just a really good stretch here to the shoulders and the upper back. One full deep breath. Maybe with your next inhale, you can lift the arms up just a tiny bit higher, and then we'll lower the arms down, coming back upright. Let's release the arms. And then let's turn so that we're back to the center of our chair. All right, good. So let's bring the awareness now to our legs, and let's stretch out the right leg. So we can just stretch it out and have our heel on the ground. Walk that left foot forward just a little bit so you feel that nice sense of groundedness. If you need to, you can adjust yourself on your chair so you're comfortable. We're going to do a little forward fold to stretch out any tightness in the legs. So as you inhale, lengthen through the spine, lengthening up. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward, hinging from the hips. So it's a lengthening forward. Keep the back flat to start with. Coming forward until you feel a good stretch to your legs. Maybe you feel that in the hamstring, maybe the calf, maybe both, maybe the lower back. So just take a moment here. You can have your hands resting on top of your thighs to support yourself. So if we have really tight legs, then oftentimes that leads to tight lower back. Everything is integrated. And then take a hold of wherever you can on that extended leg with both hands on each side of the leg, and then let yourself release into that forward fold. Maybe even walk that other leg apart a little bit so you can really sink down and relax into this forward fold. See if you can splay the toes of that right foot out so that they're fanned out and splaying wide open. That will activate the leg muscles a little bit more. Top of the head moves towards the top of the foot. And we'll prepare to come out now using your inhale. Begin to come up with a flat back. Let those hands slide back up the legs slowly and carefully. We'll bring that leg back in. And now the left leg, so we're going to bring it back towards your center and then stretched out so that the leg is resting on the heel. You can have the knee slightly bent if you need to. Adjust yourself in your chair. Walk that bent leg, the foot of that bent leg forward just a little bit so you have a good base of support. As you inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, hinging forward. And again, just letting yourself take some time here. We start with a flat back until you get to your edge, that point at which you can feel a good stretch in your leg. And then you can let yourself relax into that forward fold, maybe taking a hold of somewhere on that leg. See if you can fan the toes wide apart. Taking a few deep breaths here and enjoying this forward fold. After you stretch more often, your body will really kind of just want you to stretch, and you can heed that signal from your body. Maybe throughout the day, periodically, you'll just feel like giving yourself a good stretch. If you're not used to stretching, it might not feel so great, but it will. Let's prepare to come out. With your next inhale, use your abdominal muscles, coming up with a flat back. Let those hands slide back in, returning that leg back. Good. We'll take a moment here. Are you ready for resistance bands? Let's start. Let's take a hold of one. Well, I don't know. I always have a couple of different ones here. I have a really long, stretchy one, and then I have a shorter, stronger one that is thicker. So you use what you have, what's available to you. So we're going to start to work on the upper body to begin with, and I think for that one I'm going to take my stronger band. I do recommend that maybe if you don't have a couple of different ones, that you get two different types so that you can interchange when needed. So let's take whatever band you have, and I like to fold mine in half so that it's not dangling down too much. And then grasp the band so the palms are facing down. The arms are about shoulder width apart. Let's reach the band up overhead. So we're going to lift and reach. Our feet are firmly planted on the ground, and then we're going to start to sway a little bit from side to side. See if you can use your breath here so that you inhale up, exhaling and over. Try to keep the body upright instead of leaning forward. So if you feel like your torso is leaning forward, then bring it back upright. Adjust your arms. Maybe if you have shoulder challenges, you need to widen the arms a little bit more here. And as you keep doing this just a little bit longer, as you're moving over towards one side, then pressing down on the opposite sitting bone so that you can feel like you're not going to tip over. Few more times. So we're just stretching the side of the body, stretching through the arms. Next time that you come upright, we're going to transition here. So we're going to begin to bring the band in front of us. We're going to keep it as it is, so the arms are shoulder height. Bring your shoulder blades together, so that will bring the shoulders kind of back into their sockets. So the shoulder blades are together, and then we're just going to stretch the arms away and then return. So we're working here with our upper back muscles. This doesn't have to be a drastic movement here. So my band is a really strong one, so I barely have any give here. But so adjust yourself with your band so that if it's really stretchy, you make sure that you have resistance as the arms are stretching away and returning. Our spine is held upright, abdominals are pulled in so that we are holding ourselves upright with our core activated. So we're not only working our arms and the upper back, but we're working at core strength here just by holding ourselves upright, unsupported. And then we're gonna keep going just for a few minutes long, well, not a few minutes, but maybe just a few more times. A few minutes is sort of a long time. I can already feel this in my shoulders. This is a really good one for the rotator cuffs. So we'll do a little bit more. You probably maybe read my email about our rotator cuff and how injury is so prevalent as we start to get older. All right, let's just go for 3 more times. Nice, slow. And Jessie, you might need to lower your band down a little bit because it looks like it's sort of up here. Maybe that's just the way that it's looking. Maybe your camera is down lower. But we have our arms about shoulder height. Okay, let's lower on down and let's relax the arms. So we're gonna shake them out, wiggle the fingers. Let's alternate. We'll go to our legs right now, so I can really feel that in my shoulder. So let's go to our legs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk our legs in together, take your band, and we're going to place the band on top of our legs, and then we're just gonna loop it down and up. And try to have it in the center of your leg so that it's not on the knee at all. And here's where if you have some hip challenges, you want to be very careful here. Make your own modifications if needed. So as we're bringing the band up, we have a nice grip on it. Our forearms are parallel to the ground. We're sitting tall, and our shoulder blades are in close towards each other, and then we're just going to start to move the knees away from each other slowly. If you don't feel that resistance going out and in, then tighten up the strap a little bit. So here's where we're already getting not only some good movement here to our legs and working on the exterior hips, but we're also getting some isometric action here to our arms if you have a nice grip. And as we continue with this, we want to feel like we're moving from the muscular part of our thighs, not from the knee joint or the hip joint. So our focus is on the center of our thighs, those quadriceps. We're going to just keep going a little bit longer. Breathing. As you are extending the legs, so when the knees are as wide as they can comfortably go, hold just for a few seconds and then return. As you are returning, you want to feel that resistance on the way out and on the way in. And we're going to just go for a few more. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to hold this. Hold for 1 full deep breath. And then let's release back to center. Good. We're going to keep our bands just as they are. Adjust it if you need to so that it's comfortable. And we're going to step one leg out to the side and bring it back. And then the other leg out to the side and bring it back. And then continuing slowly. And so it's the same action to the outer hip. If you have, I don't have my loop band, if you have a loop band, this is where that would probably be helpful for you so that you don't have to, it's a little bit more comfortable to have one of those loop bands around the legs. Let's just keep going a few more times. So we're just splaying wide, returning slowly, resistance on both sides, time under tension. So it doesn't have to be a quick movement. In fact, it shouldn't be a quick movement. It should be slowly, methodically, and then taking that few seconds when you're at your most, at the point of most tension, time under tension. So we're just going to go for 2 more times on each side. 2, 2, 1, slowly, and 1. Woo. All right, let's release the band. And we're going to, my band is stuck. We're going to loosen up the hips a little bit from this movement. So come forward into your chair. We want the legs nice and wide. And we're going to just roll up to the heel. Take a hold of your chair so that you feel secure here. We're going to roll up to the balls of the feet here and just rotating around. And if you want to now put a little extra movement, you can just swing one arm out and up. A few deep breaths. Good work, everybody. All right. Let's walk our legs back in towards each other. Let's come back now to our upper body. So we'll take our band and we're going to work with the strengthening our rotator cuffs by taking the band. We're going to have that grip so that palms are facing down. We're going to bring the elbows in close to the body. Our arms are about shoulder width apart. We're sitting up tall, abs pulled in. So our forearms are about parallel to the ground now. Yeah, so our arms are tucked in close now. Elbows are into the body. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now we're going to just do the same thing. So we're pushing the arms away and letting that band return slowly back to the shoulder width apart. And then we keep on, and we want to make sure that we're sitting tall. Shoulder blades are flat on the back, or at least think of moving them in towards each other so our shoulders are stabilized. And a nice firm resistance on the way out and on the way in. And again, we just hold for a few seconds when we're at that widest part. And you might feel this in the shoulders. If you do, that's good. We don't want to go into any strain as usual. So always come out when you need to. If you need to come out, you can always rejoin when you're ready. And we're going to continue 4 times. 4, 3, 2. This last one we're going to hold. Holding, holding, holding. Breathing 1 full deep breath. And then let's release the band. Let's wiggle the fingers, shake out the arms. Good. Let's move to some core work and then we'll come back a little bit for arms. So what we're going to do is we're going to come forward in the chair and then we're going to lean back. Have your band so that it's the same way that we just had it, so except that it's up higher towards the chest. I'll take my red band so you can see it a little bit better. So it's up close to my chest and I have some resistance here. So I'm using this for leverage. As I move away from the back of the chair, I'm coming upright and then leaning back towards the chair without touching the chair. Abs are pulled in. We always want to keep the abs pulled in, lower abs pulled in. Think of navel towards the spine as you are doing any ab work or sitting upright unsupported by the back of the chair. And then breathing. So we're going to just keep going. We're holding onto that band. If you want a little extra here, as you're leaning back, you can lift one leg, returning it on the way up, inhaling up, exhaling back, the other leg lifts. So you might feel a little extra there. And we continue. We have a soft gaze on the face. If we are gripping anywhere and bringing tension to, for instance, the facial muscles or clenching the teeth, that's just bringing unnecessary stress to the body. So we don't want to bring any stress to the body, especially when we don't need to. There's tension here and there's working here, but we're just focusing on our abs. And you might feel this in your arms now, which is a good thing too, because we're also doing some isometrics here by keeping a good grip on that band. A few more times. Make sure that if it's too much on your low back that you sit back a little bit more and let the chair support you. So we're going to go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then coming up, and let's release the band. Let's shake out the arms. And sometimes with the ab work, it does bring a little tightness to the low back and abs. So let's do a supported forward fold. We're going to have our legs wider than hip with the toes are pointing outward. As you inhale, lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, begin to hinge forward. And as you're hinging forward, let the torso come about parallel to the ground if that works for you. Maybe you can let the hands come down towards the ground. And then let the lower spine relax, let the abdominals relax. If you want to, you can let the head hang down so you're getting a little bit of an inversion here, which is good for us if there's no contraindications here. So don't come into inversions if you should not have pressure to the upper body and the head. Let's prepare to make our way up. Hands to the thighs, coming up with a flat back or rolling the spine up carefully. No sudden movements. And then we're going to walk the legs in towards each other. Okay. Let's prepare to come up to standing and do some balancing. So let's come up as we typically do with a little bit of effort and strength building in the low body and the core. So coming up into from the chair into chair pose. It's kind of ironic that it's called chair pose, but when we're coming up, let's prepare by walking the feet in. We're going to have the feet sort of underneath the chair. Not really, but that's where we're moving them towards. Feet are flat on the floor. If you know you need to hold onto the chair, have your arms down so that you can grip onto the side of the chair if you need to. Otherwise, hands to the hips, hands crossed in front of you. If you want to go for even more of an effort here, arms reaching out and slightly up, lift up a few inches off your chair. We want to have the heels, the weight coming back towards the heels, and if this bothers your knees, make sure that you come up just in your regular way. This is really strengthening though for our knees because we're strengthening those quadriceps and all the muscles that support the knees. So we're going to hold just for one more full deep breath before coming up all the way up. And make sure abs are pulled in, strong legs, and begin to come up all the way up. And good work, everybody. Lowering the arms down. And we're going to pedal the feet a little bit. So come up, lifting up one heel on one foot and then the other foot. So we're just kind of rolling up towards the base of the toes as that heel lifts. Working out any tightness in the ankles. So that one is really good workout for the ankles, legs, core, our determination. And now let's step the legs apart. Feet are pointing outward and we're just going to roll around, rolling the shoulders, rolling the hips around, and enjoying our freedom of movement here. All right, we'll step the legs in towards each other. And let's prepare now for some balancing. And we're going to start by focusing on a form of Warrior 3. So I'd like to show you quickly, we did do this in Tuesday's class, but we did it a different way. And if you weren't in Tuesday's class, then you wouldn't know what we're about to do. So one way to do this, there's two different ways. I'm going to lead us through not this way, but the other way. But you can just take a look in case you know that this is the way that you should do it. So the hands rest lightly on the chair, and whichever leg is lifted up, the toes are pointing it down, and then the other arm reaches up, and then maybe the other arm. So that is one way. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to use the front of the chair. Whoops. You know what? We'll use the front of the chair as another variation. There's actually several ways to do this. So if you know that you already need the back of the chair, then do that. Otherwise, we'll come to the front of the chair, coming into this tabletop-like position. And as we do this, we want to feel like we're not really pressing into those palms. We're lifting up with our core so that the weight is lightly on our palms. And we're going to begin to bring the left arm up to the top of the chair. So our left arm is resting on that chair, on the top of it. And then the right leg is going to extend out. Point so that leg is about hip height. And then we're going to have the toes pointing down. Make sure now that that weight-bearing leg, you can bend the knee softly so it's not locked at all. Maybe you can lift that arm up off the back of the chair. And if that's the case and you're feeling pretty strong, see if maybe you can bring that other arm up to the top of the chair and then lift them both up, even if it's for like a couple seconds. It's strenuous. When you're ready, we'll lower back down. Good work, everyone. All right, good. Let's go right to the other side. So make sure now that your toes are pointed forward, and then that right arm is going to rest on top of the chair, and that left leg comes out behind you. So there's a straight line from the fingertips all the way down to your heel. The toes are pointing down. Soft weight-bearing leg, so the knee bends a little bit. Bring your other arm up to the top of the chair, and then maybe lift one arm, maybe lift both arms. And when you're ready, let's lower the leg down. Let's bring both hands to the chair, and let's walk the legs back. We'll come into supported downward dog. So we're going to walk back. We're going to keep the palms on the chair, and then we're going to stretch the hips back. The arms are alongside the ears. Make this a good stretch for you. So you might need to really adjust here. Adjust the legs so that you're walking back enough that you feel a stretch all along the arms, the backs of the legs. Preparing to come out, bend at the knees and walk forward till you come back in that tabletop position. One hand to the hip, the other hand to the hip. Come up with a flat back. Very carefully. Good work, everybody. Now, let's shake out the wrists because that can be a lot of pressure on the hands. And let's extend the arms forward, and we're going to take a hold of the fingertips pointing down, and we're going to just give our wrist a good stretch here. If you're not sure what I mean, you can take a look. And then have the fingers up and pressing back gently so that you get a good stretch, and then to the other hand. And just pushing back so you get a good stretch to those wrists. Good. So we'll do a little bit of some brain exercise here. When you're ready, we're going to stand in mountain pose, so our legs are about hip width apart. We're standing tall, spine is lengthened, and we're going to begin by first of all, make sure that you have your chair close by if you need to. If you need to hold on to your chair at any point, okay? So otherwise, what we're going to do is we're just going to start to march. If you need to hold on to your chair, do that. And as we're marching, we're lifting our legs up, maybe thigh parallel to the ground or to whatever height that you can. And we're going to kind of slow it down a little bit so that we are really balancing on one leg. And then we're going to start to move the arms like we're walking. So we are walking in place here. And then we're going to slow that down even a little bit more so that our arms are moving, but our legs kind of stop just for a moment. See if you can keep the arms moving, but when the knee lifts up high, it stopped for a moment. So now we're going to slow the arms down, and we're going to keep marching in place. Whichever leg is raised up, we're going to raise up the opposite arm. And then opposite leg to opposite arm. Might take a moment just to get the hang of it. If you're not sure, you can take a look at me and see what I'm doing. So we're moving slowly. We're having a nice regular breath. And now whichever arm is up, we're looking to that side. And slowly moving the head. So you're looking just kind of beyond that armpit, not looking up. Good. Now we're going to transition so that our head is turned to look in the opposite way, so opposite of the arm that's raised. So we're moving 3 different body parts in 3 different directions at the same time, and also practicing our balance. See if you can go slowly, so we're not really using momentum here. If you feel like you've got really good balance, you could close your eyes. This is going to be definitely a challenge. Don't do it if you are wibbly wobbly and don't have your chair handy. All right, we're going to slow down. You can open your eyes if they were closed. All right, let's slow down until we come to a stop. Good work, everyone. Whew. All right. So let's do our classic. We'll end with our tightrope walk that we've been practicing a little bit on and off. And so let's begin. We want to stand next to our chair so we have it handy for us. And remember, if you do have a lightweight chair, you don't want to press a lot of weight because your chair could tip over. So best to just have the top of your hand on the top of the chair, or the bottom of your hand on the chair. So let's take a look down at our feet. Both feet are pointing forward. And then we're going to bring the outside leg in front. So if you need to hold onto your chair, you can do that. So whichever side you're standing on towards your chair, bring that outside leg forward. So it's like a heel toe, and then see if you can let go of your chair. And if you feel that back leg is swaying and ankle is moving around, that's okay, that's normal. Now see that you're standing tall and start to move the arms like you're walking. And if you're feeling really imbalanced, you can bring some weight towards the front so that your weight is more evenly distributed to the back and the front foot. All right, now we're going to slow the arms down until they come to a standstill. Place your hand on top of the chair, keep your legs where they are, and then close your eyes for one full deep breath. And then opening the eyes, removing the hand from the chair if you're feeling okay with that, and close the eyes again. If you need the chair, then take the chair. One full deep breath. And opening the eyes. Good. All right, let's step the legs apart. Let's move around a little bit. It's a lot of weight bearing on that one leg, so you might feel that in the hip already. Yeah, so just sway around. If you need to change sides to your other side of your chair, then do that. But otherwise, you can make sure that you're just close enough that you still have your hand available to it. All right, so take a look down at your feet. We're going to start for the next side now. Feet are pointing forward. We're going to place now the inside leg or the opposite leg to the front, heel toe. Standing tall. We're going to let go of the chair if you can, and we're going to just start to sway the arms. So arms are swinging as much or as little as you can and still have your balance. Good. Let's slow the arms down. I'm going to just stand still. We'll place the hand on the chair. And then let's close the eyes. One full deep breath. And then opening the eyes. Remove the hand from the chair. And if you're able to, close the eyes again. One full deep breath. And opening the eyes. Good. Let's step the legs apart and let's move around a little bit. Before we come to seated, we're going to do some standing band work. And I really like these standing squats because they work almost every part of the body. So let's take a band. Hopefully you have a long, stretchy band. So if you don't, for future use, you should get one that's like almost as tall as you. And if you don't have a band, it's okay. You can mimic the movements if your band isn't long enough, and you'll still get results. Step on your band with the ball of the foot, of each foot, so that it's not the arch of the foot, so that it won't slip around. And then our knees are slightly bent, and we're going to start doing some standing squats by bringing the arms up to the shoulders as we're coming into our squat and coming upright. And then as we're doing this, make sure now that your knees are not moving over your toes. If so, then move the hips back a little bit more, like in our standing chair pose. As you're doing this, you can coordinate the breath. Inhaling up, exhaling into your squat, and make sure that you have a good grip, good tension on your strap so that you're feeling that tension going both ways. You don't want to waste your movement here. Let's really maximize our time. And coordinating breath, so you are getting a nice cleansing, energizing breath. Always come out when you need to. If it's too much, take a moment and take a breather and join in when you're ready. So take a look down at your knees. If they're extending too far over your toes, then you need to send your hips back into that squat. So you're working lower body, the core, abs are pulled in, upper body. So later on today, maybe do another set of these or two. And we're just going to go for 4 more, holding at the top. 4, 3, coordinate the breath. 2, and this one, we're going to hold in our squat for a moment. 1 full deep breath here. And inhaling back up. Good. Let's release the band. And we can set it on alongside the chair and just roll around. Do whatever feels good for you. So as a reminder, as you're moving around, I just want to show you, when we come into chair pose, when we're lowering down into our chair, this is what it looks like. This is what our hips are doing. We're not bringing the knees over. We're sending those hips back. And then arms to whatever position you want to that works for you, or down if you know that you need to take a hold of the chair. But our weight comes towards our heels. So let's prepare for that. We're going to come to the center of the chair. You can look and make sure that you're centered. You want to have the backs of the legs touching the front edge of your chair, so you know exactly where it is. Then begin to first place your hands in whatever position works for you. Arms are in a comfortable position or a little more exerting. And then we're sending our hips back. We're going to take our time here, and we're going to begin to slowly lower down. Make sure that the ankles are not over the knees. The weight comes towards the heels, and breathing. We don't want to have the torso parallel to the ground. It's at an angle. So our gaze is 4 or 5 feet forward. We're going to come back up to standing. Whoops. I tricked you. Slowly coming back up, and then one more time all the way down, really slowly. Slowly, slowly, slowly. coming down all the way slowly with control. If you can't come down all the way slowly with control, then this is something that you probably want to do a little bit more of, so that our purpose here is so that as we get along in our life, that we're not needing assistive devices to get up and down off of our chair. And in the bathroom, we want our independence. So that's where we are focusing so much on keeping our good strength and building on that. Let's take a moment here, check in with ourselves. So sit back into your chair. Let the chair support you completely. You've been putting forth some good effort. And let your body take a moment to receive the benefits of this effort. Close the eyes and check in with yourself. See how you're feeling. And then we're going to open up the eyes. Now we're going to begin some brain body exercises using just our brain and our hands. To begin, sit comfortable in your chair. And these movements are going to be smaller, finer movements that require concentration and will enhance our coordination. Let's begin by bringing the hands together, and we're going to interlace the fingers. Have your left thumb on top. And you can hold your hands in close to the body so that you can see your hands. We're going to lift up each finger individually and keep all of the other fingers held down. Beginning with the left thumb, lift that thumb up, lower it down, and then the next thumb lifts up and lowers down, and then the index finger lifts, lowers down, and then the other finger, and each finger in succession, keeping all of the other fingers held down. As you continue doing this, when you get to your baby fingers, then reverse directions. And it's okay to hold your hands in close to look and see what they're doing. It might take a little while of some practice to be able to keep all of the other fingers down. And then when you have finished that round, we're going to release the hands. We'll shake out the fingers. And we're going to do this again, but as you are interlacing your fingers, have your right thumb on top now. So it's the other way. And so whichever thumb is on top, we lift that one first, lower it down, then the other thumb, lower it down, and again continue one finger at a time. Try to keep all of the other fingers held down. So we're isolating just the movement of one finger at a time. And don't be alarmed if it feels awkward and doesn't work out this first time. You can always practice on your own and you will get better. So continuing in reverse order until you get back to your thumb, the thumb that you started with. Good. All right, let's shake out the fingers. And we'll do one more. This one is a fun one, and I'll show you what it looks like and then we'll do it together. So it looks like this. We're going to tap one side of the chest as we're swiping with the other. So let's prepare, and it doesn't matter which side you start on. So make a gentle fist, bring it to your chest, and then the other hand is flat, and we're going to start to tap and swipe at the same time. And it's okay if you look down and see what you're doing. This one is a fun one, and I actually am having challenges with myself, so I've been practicing this one. All right, so let's switch now to the other side. Make a gentle fist, flat hand, and then we're tapping on one side and swiping on the other. It's okay to do it with a sense of lightness and fun. You'll find that some of these are really easy and some of them are really difficult, and even at different times of the day. So try this later on today and see how it works out for you. All right, so let's slow this down and we'll relax the arms. Good work. All right, let's let our mind rest for a moment, and we're going to do a little bit more with abs, all right? And then just a little bit more with our arms. So, but for this we don't need our band. We're going to work on our abs by sitting tall. We're going to come towards the front of our chair, and then we're going to lean back. Now, if you know that this is not good for low back, then just scooch back a little bit more so there's less of an angle to your spine. Chin is tucked down and under, abs are pulled in. And we're going to begin by just lifting up one leg at a time so the toes are pointing down. You can take the hold of underneath your chair or clasp the side of your chair, and then maybe lift up a little bit higher so that as soon as the big toe is pointing down, the other one lifts up almost immediately. And then we're going to just keep going for a little bit longer. See, as you're doing this, if maybe you can lean away from the chair so that you're really just holding yourself upright, unsupported, and really working those abdominal muscles, working the core, which also includes the low back. And then maybe lifting up both feet at the same time, maybe even doing a little bit of a curl by bringing the torso in towards the legs. So there's all sorts of variations here. Do what works for you. And remember that you usually have a chair available to you throughout the day. So these are really good, not only for the hip flexors, which you might feel it there, but of course our core, chin is tucked slightly in. We're going to slightly begin to slow, just very gradually, slowing down, and remember, do what works for you. And then we're going to come feet flat and upright. Good. So I'd like to, looks like we need to slow down a little bit now. And so we can do some little bit with our shoulders and hips and core we're gonna widen the legs, have the toes pointing outward, bring the palms of the hands to the inside of the thighs, and then as you're pushing away that leg, the shoulder comes towards the other knee, towards the inside of that knee. So we're relaxing the abs, and we're loosening up the hips. I know with those abdominal exercises that we just did, sometimes the hip flexors can get a little tired. So we're really loosening up here. And as you're doing this, see if you can put a little extra movement into the side of the body so that shoulder is really stretching forward towards that opposite knee. Inhaling up, exhaling over. If you want to spend some time just taking in some micro movements, then do that. Maybe kind of letting that shoulder blade move around a little bit. I always think this class needs to be longer because there's so much to do, so much fun to be had. Let's slow it on down, and one more time to each side. And then coming upright when you're ready, walking the legs in towards each other, sitting back into our chair. We're going to start to slow down by sitting comfortably so that you feel really supported by the chair. Legs can be however they want to be. Let's let the arms hang alongside the body. Closing the eyes. Checking in with how you're feeling. Where are you feeling energy flowing right now? Taking a moment of gratitude, thanking yourself for coming here today and taking good care of yourself. And let's prepare for some cleansing breaths. Let the abdominal muscles completely relax, and as you inhale, let the abdomen fill up, expanding. It's not really filling up, but it's expanding all the way up to the collarbones. Lift the shoulders up so they're scrunching. Curl the fists, curl the toes. A little bit of a deeper breath and open up the mouth and release. And again, inhaling deeply. Abdominal muscles are relaxing, filling up, expanding all the way up. Shoulders are going to lift. Tighten every single thing in the body, even the face scrunches up. Open up the mouth, stick out the tongue. Release, and one more time. Big deep breath. Filling all the way up, scrunching everything. Take in your deepest inhale, hold it just for a moment. Open up the mouth and release. Let the hands relax onto the legs or wherever they want to go. Sinking into your chair. Eyes are lightly closed. All the little muscles around the eyes are relaxed. Facial muscles are relaxed. With the lips lightly together, separate the jaw slightly. Tongue is relaxed. And the throat is soft and open. Awareness inward to the breath. Letting the mind become still. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all beings be safe. May all beings be well in body and mind. May all beings be at ease and happy. May all beings be free and at peace. Begin to take in deeper breaths. And begin to wiggle toes and fingers. Moving wrists and ankles. And then as you begin taking in larger movements with arms and legs, begin opening the eyes. If you'd like to take in a full body stretch, reach out the legs, reach out the arms out and up, breathing in health and vitality and wellness to every fiber of your being. I hope that you all have a wonderfully peaceful day today. Namaste.